I now have the privilege of introducing the student who will give the senior class address, Kathleen Skiles. Kathleen, I understand this has been a busy time for the Skiles family. Last week they attended the commencement ceremonies in Portland for Kathleen's twin sister. Today, Kathleen, where are your parents? Do you see them? Today, Kathleen graduated from Dominican with a major in political science and a double minor in religious studies and free law. Mr. and Mrs. Skiles, by the way, I'm the father of twins, so I know what it means. And I must tell you, you must be very, very proud of both of your daughters. This time last year, I just appointed Kathleen as Dominican's Panetta, that's Leon Panetta, Congressional Scholar for the fall semester of 2006. Dominican is only one of two private California universities participating in this prestigious scholarship program offered through the Panetta Institute. Kathleen's academic merit and her commitment to public service earned her the appointment with the Panetta Institute. During the fall semester, she spent that time as an intern in the office of Tom Lantos, Congressional Representative. She worked closely with the Congressional Human Rights Caucus, researching information in order to highlight human rights abuses around the world. And she was responsible for preparing briefings about Muslim integration in Europe and genocide in Sudan. Here at Dominican, she has integrated her passion for human rights into her everyday life. Recently, she worked on behalf of the Save the Far Coalition and was president and founder of the Dominican chapter of Students Taking Action Now the Far. In addition, she has volunteered her time at the St. Vincent de Paul Kitchen and the Good Samaritan program. Kathleen also is one of our star athletes and is a member of the California Pacific Conference Championship basketball team. Currently, she's waiting to hear. Have you heard yet? Currently, she's waiting to hear if she has won a Senate Capital Fellowship in Washington. More than 2,000 students have applied for this award. Kathleen has already made it through 2 cuts and is among 80 students being considered for one of 18 fellowships. Ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. and Mrs. Skiles, you must be very proud because certainly we are. Ladies and gentlemen, Kathleen Skiles.
Good morning. On behalf of the class of 2007, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our guests, alumni, trustees, faculty, loved ones, and to our amazing professors. I address my fellow graduates as classmates, scholars, humanists, leaders, proprietors of the future, and as my friends. You've scratched in the last bubble on the last exam. You've turned in every single last paper. You've written the last page of your senior thesis. Well, okay, I mean, God willing you have. A group of thoughtful, intelligent, and caring individuals. The words you are about to hear are based upon the inspiration provided to me by my classmates in subtle and significant ways these past few years. I found this inspiration in glancing smiles while coming to and from, in the presentation of thoughtful insights and difficult questions during class. I found it in the encouraging words I received in having to deliver a commencement speech to a couple hundred people. I found it in the service of my peers, who traveled from San Francisco to Africa, to Ireland, to Mexico, just so that they could serve others. I found it a few weeks ago when our Dominican family united on the Anne Hathaway lawn in remembrance of those who passed in the wake of the Virginia Tech shootings. This class has challenged me to improve myself through their own example, and there's no mechanism of gratitude that could serve as adequate compensation. As we take time to reflect on this moment and the adventures that brought us to it, we might recall some of the instances that led us to this point. One memory I've taken time to reflect on is my very first campus visit. As I walked around campus that day, I could tell right off that Dominican University was much more than an institution with professors and students. It was a community, and it was a family. I checked out campus, and I had my very first lunch in Cabaret Dining Hall. It was there that I ate my very first chocolate chip cookie, the first of over 100,000 million that I would consume within my undergraduate academic career. That day also marked the first time I heard the school motto, "This place changes people." I had no idea what it meant at the time, or what it could mean to me in the future, but the motto, "This place changes people," has become one of the most honest suggestions holding true in my life thus far. It's difficult to explain what a Dominican education is to someone who hasn't lived it firsthand, and no single person could interpret it the same anyway. We come from different states and different countries. We have different majors and different nationalities. We are of different ages and different belief systems. Our class is a canvas of diversity, so it's appropriate to assume that none of us have had the exact same experience. I can only offer myself as an example of how I've been shaped and changed within the Dominican framework. Our university was established over 100 years ago by the Dominican Order of Sisters in San Rafael. Fostered by the virtues of these brilliant women, our founders, the growth of the Dominican student is based upon the development of self and learning to walk the talk. The Dominican education is more than develop knowledge, and moves far beyond that, to develop conscience. This place changes people means maturing the mind while simultaneously maturing the heart. As we graduate, we have to take our Dominican values with us and look beyond ourselves into the world at large. Because more urgently than ever, our world needs leaders with the desire to serve others. The world requires more than our leadership, it requires compassion. The views of open landscape the American settlers must have encountered have no doubt evolved beyond anything they could have ever imagined. Skyscrapers and city blocks that crowd what was once open terrain are as powerfully evolved as the ideas that have been constructed to shape our modern era. Throughout our college journey, we've witnessed events that necessitate our leadership in this world. Our college years have taken place with the backdrop of war. Our global community has divided into factional countries where stereotype often accompanies ignorance, and compassion takes a back seat to the pursuit of economic abundance. Beyond threats of terrorism, we fought against more creative and tactful enemies, like climate change. An entire region of our country was washed away by Hurricane Katrina, leaving us wondering how an atrocity of such magnitude could really happen. Genocide continues in Sudan, and human rights abuses continue throughout our world. Poverty, conflict, inequity, a divided class system. We've got a lot of work to do. But as a nation founded by immigrant heroes who sought freedom from religious persecution, it seems that we should seek to understand the tendencies that disadvantage those on the lowest end of the chain. Understanding doesn't mean that we will always agree on ways to solve issues, but it offers a clear vision that could enable us to replace ignorance and prejudice with relationship. Through understanding, we can create a culture of mutuality instead of power. As we move forward, we are faced with a really difficult question. What's in store for our future world? With the current state of the world, people might be surprised at my enthusiastic optimism. But if you've met the individual standing behind me, you would no doubt agree. intelligent, creative, and brave. My classmates aren't going to give up. My classmates are going to give back. This place has changed us, and now it's our turn to do the changing. President John F. Kennedy once said, "Our problems are man-made, therefore they can be solved by man. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings." I had a very difficult time putting this speech together. When I began, my words were mixed up and my thoughts were scattered. Then I was told that the other speaker was a rocket scientist, and that really freaked me out. Faced with this dilemma, I did what any scholarly academic would do. I Googled it. My search yielded suggestions of improving the world and conquering set goals, reaching potential, facing fears. These all seemed like pretty legitimate ideas. But who am I to offer advice to these great individuals? I found difficulty in offering encouragement to my classmates who demonstrate such promise, to inspiring those who themselves inspire me, to asking compassionate people to act compassionately. As I have full confidence in the intent and ability of my peers, it seems appropriate to instead offer my wishes of Godspeed and the very best of luck.